It was another great season, packed full of information. And some of the big takeaways from this episode, as well as the entire season, is that scammers are using black magic and spiritual rituals to target victims. So when you hear of this, if someone comes to you and says, this happened to me, or I perceive that this is happening to someone else, don't just push it away. Don't just ignore them. Know that there's something bigger that might be happening here. Also know that con artists will use social engineering not only to get money, but to discredit their victims. They will use it to take away their voice, take away their credibility, and keep them silent. When we are vigilant as a community, we can help mitigate not only this, but cybercrime as a whole. If you or someone you know has been a victim of a data breach, an account compromise, social engineering, if you've been a victim of a romance scam where someone's using dark magic, or even if they aren't, or you've experienced any other type of cybercrime, we of course encourage you to contact your local police as well as the FBI at ic3.gov. But on this last episode, we wanted to share a few more of the resources that are available to you. Laura Baker from Cyber Wyoming and the Cyber Wyoming Alliance shared that AARP has resources for victims of fraud and cybercrime, and they serve as victims of any age. So I'd encourage you to visit AARP's website to peruse their resources and to get help for you or someone that you love. There's also the Coalition Against Stalkerware. And the Coalition Against Stalkerware will help in a scenario where social engineering has been used and a victim is being targeted. Mr. Anthony Pinto from the Center for Cybersecurity at UWF talked about how in social engineering, victims can be stalked. They might find out what kind of car you drive, where you live, where you work, who your family members are, and use that information to target you and carry out different types of crime against you. So if you feel like you've been a victim of stalkerware or a victim of social engineering, and stalkerware is when someone is actually using apps or digital means to track your locations, be sure to visit the Coalition Against Stalkerware to get more information on what it is and how you can protect yourself as well as your family and how you can help someone who's been a victim. There's also Stay Safe Online, the National Cybersecurity Alliance. Tanya Dudley, who was on the show this season, serves as one of the board members there. I'm also a champion for the National Cybersecurity Alliance, as well as my company, the Vicar Group. And they have a myriad of resources that helps bring awareness to cybersecurity and information security best practices, as well as resources for those that have been a victim of any type of cybercrime and cyber fraud. So be sure to visit the National Cybersecurity Alliance and Stay Safe Online. And then, of course, if there's any type of financial crime or financial component, there's always the FTC. You can report there as well. The FTC has a great reporting system. You visit their site and you can report the type of crime, who it was, whether it was a phone call, what the phone numbers were, the mailing addresses, any type of information that you have, you can report it there. We actually did a segment on last season's show that shows how to report, so you can go back into our archives and see that as well. But we wanted to share this to ensure that, of course, you know what to do if you've been a victim. But we also wanted to highlight all of these topics to give voices back to those victims. We wanted to bring these subjects to light for them, to validate them, to vindicate them in some cases, and to let you, our audience, know that these things are happening. I'd like to thank this season's guests, Tanya, Laura, Anthony, and Merrick, for sharing your insight and expertise with our audience. Thank you so much for all that you do every day. If you or someone you know has been a victim of a data breach, fraud, or any other type of cybercrime, be sure to contact your local police department or the FBI at ic3.gov. I'd like to thank all of our guests for being here this season, as well as our crew. Hannah, Eric, Peter, Stephen, Suzanne, and Doug, for all that you've done this season to make this show possible. We certainly do appreciate you. And last but not least, I'd like to thank you, our audience, for tuning in. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, have show ideas, or would like to sponsor the show, be sure to visit us at dtbwithv.com. I'm V. This is Down to Business with V. We'll see you next time.